shocking to me because, you know, if there's good, there has to be evil, if you understand what I'm saying. But anyway, but this was very interesting, and this is why I am so fascinated with this era. Like, to this day, people, my mom, my family asks me, like, why are you so into, like, shows like Spartacus, Rome, Game of Thrones, the Borgias, like, anything to do with that era. I'm just was watching, but I'm going to go with, I think her name is Titiba. Titiba, an Indian woman enslaved by the Paris family. Sarah Good and Sarah Osborne as witches. So these girls, I don't know if their parents were like, look, they think y'all are witches, whatever, y'all gonna be hung, y'all better start talking, or you know what, accuse somebody else. So the girls are like, you know what, that person, those three people are witches. They did that to us. And that was enough for people. Like, if the kids say, you know what, you're a witch, that was it. Like, anyone can accuse you of being a witch, and that was it. You didn't have to have any evidence, no proof, nothing. And then, based off the girls' accusations, the witch hunt began, and the warrants for the apprehension of Titiba, Osborne, and Good were officially signed on February 29th, 1692. Number 2, little is known about Titiba. Yeah, I couldn't find anything about our whereabouts before, where anything, just she's only like mentioned in this particular story. I don't know. Little is known about Titiba besides her role in the witch trials. She was an enslaved woman believed to have been from Central America, captured as a child from Barbados and brought to the States in 1680 by Reverend Paris. Titiba eventually confessed to using witchcraft. She crafted a tale detailing how the devil had come to her and asked her to do his bidding. According to her testimony, she had seen 4 women and a man, including Sarah Osborne and Sarah Good, asking her to hurt the children. She added a hog, a great black dog, a red rat. What the fuck is a red rat? A red rat. Oh, a black rat, and a yellow bird, amongst other animals, to corroborate her story. And come to find out, we knew she was lying, but we don't know why. But then again, I'm like, it's like in today's days, like, some people actually admit to a murder that they did not commit because they want the attention, they want the fame. They don't want to be famous for, like, I don't know, writing a book. They want to be famous for being a murderer. Like, I don't know. Her testimony added fuel to the fire, making the witch hunt spiral out of control. Now that Titiba had confirmed that she was working for the devil and that there were other witches around, there was no stopping until they were all found. So now we have a doctor who started this rumor, and then we have a lady who's taking this rumor and running with it. That's it. Number 3, Bridget Bishop was the first to be executed for witchcraft because of the Salem witch trials. Bridget Bishop, a woman considered to have questionable morals, was the first to be tried and executed. She was known to be rebellious. She stayed out for long hours, had people at her home late night, hosted drinking and gambling parties frequently. See, in today's days, that's Williams, Anna Putman, Mercy Lewis, Mary Wolcott, and Elizabeth Hubbard. The death warrant signed on June 8th, 1692, ordered for her death to be taken place by hanging on Friday, June 10th. She only had 2 days to live after that, between 8 and noon. It was carried out by Sheriff George Cohen. Number 4, safe. Like, why would you even think that? Of the 20 people executed during the trials, 6 of them were men. And one guy was actually executed after he said, no, it wasn't my wife, because his wife was accused first. He was like, no, it wasn't my wife, it was me, to save his wife so she can raise his kids and stuff. That's sweet. But no, that's sweet and all, but see, these 20 people should not have been killed, period. You know, it's not like they actually killed somebody, robbed somebody, or was caught in the middle of committing a crime. This was just word of mouth and witchcraft, which is not even real. Like, just the anger I feel of this is just ridiculous. Number 9. A total of 25 people died because of the Salem witch trials. 14 women and 6 men were executed. Wait a minute. See, it says, this is what I'm saying. Like, the first article, like, beginning says that 20 people were executed, and the next fun fact says 25 people were executed. So I don't even know, and that's a number, because one article said 19, a couple of the shows, one said 23, one said 22, so the number is not even accurate. So we'll just say from 19 to 25 people were killed, and amongst those were men and women. No children were killed, but they were imprisoned. 14 women and 6 men were executed for witchcraft, and 5. Okay. Let me retract what I just said. So a total of 25 people died during the Salem witch trials. 20 was actually like hanged. Ugh. I need to double check myself with that. 19 people were hanged. No, hung. Excuse me. talking to you. But I cannot think of which movie. I want to say Game of Thrones, but I don't want to say that, guys. Like I said, I watch a lot of shit back in this era, but one thing I think that got me was there was this way that they kill people. It was like, I forgot what they call it, but they would basically stretch you to death, like basically pull you apart little by little, and they would just sit there and crank you up and crank you up. And then there was another machine they had that would actually twist you. It kind of reminded me of Saw. There was this one scene that like he had to, I don't know, under the locks, and little by little his whole body, everything would just start turning and twisting. Oh my god. To this day, I cannot watch that scene on Saw. Oh my god. Anyway, the punishment, and then there's another one that they would like throw you like in this like this bowl type of thing or whatever, and they will lock you up, and then they would burn you that way, like burn the bowl, and like you would burn inside. Like their deaths were so, let alone like beheading, being stoned to death, you know, just crazy things. And think about like everything I mentioned, and then we stopped all that driver. Everyone should be arrested. Everyone should be on trial.